Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Real World News TV with one of your co-hosts, Reggie Kearney. Uh, my partner, Sharon Tappett, she's not feeling well tonight. She's a little under the weather. We're praying for her and sending her a shout out. But I do have with me my other sidekick, Tony Breedlove, the boss lady, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. What's up,
I'm
girl?
saying that. I'm no boss.
Okay.
I'm not.
What's up, girl?
Not a lot. How was your day?
So I was okay. A little tired, but it was
Just
it was
okay?
good. Yeah.
Nothing exciting going on?
Nah.
We got to create the moment, Reg.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
We got to create it.
rested. Worked on my website. Took it down because we're doing some maintenance on it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
the good thing is, hey, you know what? The good thing is that you have a website to be able to take down.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
But I hate taking it down. It might be down for a couple of days, but they're working on it. Do the updates as quickly as possible.
Good. I'm sure you will get it done because you are the man.
Yeah, I tried. I'm trying, but I can't. I can't touch you.
Ah, please.
I can't touch Tony. I can't touch Tony.
Don't.
So tonight, our topic is diversity in the castle. And for y'all that didn't watch, it's not Castle Delaware either. It's the castle in England. Okay. And basically, Meghan Markle, now the Duchess of Sussex, is making her mark as the first biracial to marry into the British royal family. Who is she? There are some people who. There's always going to be some haters out there, So there are some haters out there. Some people who really fell in love with the whole wedding and fell in love with her and Harry. It turns out Meghan, whose mother is black and father is white, may not be the first biracial royal. That title likely belongs to Queen Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, who lived during the 18th century. Charlotte was married to King George III and was queen for nearly 60 years until she died in 1818.
Mm-hmm.
She is the grandmother of Queen Victoria and the fourth great-grandmother of the current Queen Elizabeth. Queen Charlotte was directly descended from Margarita de Castro y Sousa, which was a black branch of the Portuguese Royal House. Charlotte's racial background wasn't known to the public when she served as queen. It was only discovered many years after her death. Duchess Meghan is certainly making a mark in British history and showing the world that diversity has come to the castle. But what does this say for the U.S.? Will the White House ever be ready for a biracial couple to lead this country? No.
All right. Good night, everybody.
See how you use that word?
But, I think it's quite interesting. I think a lot of people, have been going around saying that Duchess Meghan is the first person of color
Right.
In the castle. But, I found it interesting when I found that because I looked up the first queen and first princess.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I came up with. And when I did come up with it and looked at the picture, I thought, oh, yeah, how could she not be? How could you not know that this was a woman of biracial descent? Mm-hmm. Because you can tell by her features. Right. And I don't know if, like today, if people are going to, or if people then had decided to say, oh, no, just accept her as a white queen because no one said it. Mm-hmm. But they had to have known. Mm-hmm. They had to have known, but.
Well, you look back there at the medieval times, the time of King George, if you said anything, you probably got beheaded, So, I mean, It was like seen but not seen, and you better keep your mouth closed, okay? I mean, it was his choice. That's who he was in love with, and that was his choice. Right. But if you had criticized, because during that time, the king was the king, okay? It's not like it is today. You have a separate form of government, the parliament that runs basically runs Great Britain. During that time, the king and queen, they ran the country.
Exactly.
So you've been kind of stupid to criticize him for marrying woman, of African American descent, a woman of color, because you sure enough who've been on the chopping block, So I think that's one reason nobody, people turn a deaf ear to it. Right. Then when we look at slavery, which was thrust upon us as blacks, you see it was a lot of it. You look at Thomas Jefferson, okay? So, him and Sally, I believe Hemsley is her last name. Look at that whole situation, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, they even say, George Washington probably had, all them white boys had some.
All of them had, yes, they did.
Look at you and me, we're not jet black, we're a product of slavery, because we're light-skinned African Americans, so it's been there, it's been there.
I don't, you know what, and I really don't even look at it. I'm glad you made mention of the skin color, because I really don't even look at the skin color anymore. No matter what, the bloodline of blacks were tainted or tarnished, or the bloodline was tarnished, if you want to call it that, with European blood, no matter what your skin color is. That just is something that happened, and that's just who we are as a part of our history and a part of our descendants. But here clearly we see Meghan, Duchess Meghan. She has a really bright tone. And only if you were looking at her against Harry, you could tell that she is of African descent, but what the sad part is that I was paying attention to all of the commentary before they had gotten married, before they even took the vows. I think it was right when they started to announce when they announced their engagement and before they were getting married. You had more, I think. I think it's almost even of what I can tell. I'm not going to say more. I think it was even as far as whites and blacks together who were almost disavowing this marriage, saying, certain things that were all just negative comments. I got sick to my stomach.
Right.
I got sick to my stomach. Do you think that people are now going to accept her more now that she is married to Prince Harry?
Well, they don't have to. It's up to them. But the man is happy, okay?
That's it. Exactly.
And that's just the bottom line of it. So, I mean, you had the conservative right-wing nuts come out here in this country and voice their opinion about it, once it happened. But that's his prerogative. If he's happy, he's happy. And I think that's how we got to look at it. He doesn't have to please us one way or the other. It's not our place to judge, but so many people are judging it.
Right. Because now Chera just commented, and she said it still demonstrates our castle system mindset. If it were an African prince marrying a woman who was part white, would they still be making a big deal of it? Would it be historic? Do you think so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would. Probably worse for them than it is for Harry and Meghan.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. You're taking a black man from Africa who's a princess, and he marries a woman of white persuasion. Them folks probably be a coup over there. They probably take over government, run out of the country. Because some societies are accepting of it, okay? So it's never going to happen in an African country, true African country.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because when we talk about the countries, the different countries, various countries would not accept a black woman or white man into the opposite culture. Right, if we're talking about overseas. But now that we've had a president here in the United States of African descent, do you think that the country is ready for a interracial couple sit in the White House?
No. You see what happened when he became president. Just think of biracial. Because, see, this is a problem. Here in America, we just got so much racism going on, okay? You got that little small fraction of knuckleheads that would make a very strong statement concerning that, okay? You know, you look at the statements they made, the Make America Great white folks made concerning Meghan and Harry.
Yeah.
You know, and that's in that.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't hear that.
Oh, you didn't? It was a lot of them out there, you know, voicing an opinion about it. And that they in England, they don't have no effect on what goes on here in America. You know.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, sure I did.
Did
you? I might have posted some stuff on my Facebook page. But it's just the mindset of a lot of whites here. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but some whites here in America. You know, so you saw how they got when Obama was elected. Just think,
yeah,
if a biracial couple comes into the White House, all hell probably gonna break loose. You know,
yeah.
I mean, you already got an issue in the White House now. You look at the makeup of that marriage. You got an immigrant woman of Russian descent in the White House who can barely speak English. You know, no college education. Claims she went to college, but comes out of find
here on a questionable visa.
Yeah. Pose nude.
Yeah.
In another part of her life.
Yeah.
Parents got quick access, got quick visas to America. You know, so it's a lot of questionable issues behind the couple that's in the White House now.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what some people in white America accept these days.
What do you think that, for the most part, people would be so afraid of having? Hell, we can't even get a woman elected into the White House, let alone an interracial couple running together, or, you know, as man and wife, an interracial couple. I mean, what do you think people are so afraid of?
Black folks. You know, because whites still have that supremacy type of attitude. You know, that they are it and we run things, okay? You look at the pecking order. The Native Americans were here first, okay?
Right.
Then you have Europeans invading America and taking it over like they found it, okay?
Yeah.
And because of their power, they were able to push the Native Americans aside. Well, they were lazy and they didn't want to do no work, so then they came after us. I mean, we built America, okay? If anything, we raising up in arms and putting them on boats and sending them back to Europe.
Yeah.
You know? But they still think they're superior. Even around the world, they think they're superior to people of color. You know, and that's how they act. You know, so yeah, you know, the idea of a black man running the White House, you know, they were comfortable with letting us have the sports. I mean, they got upset when Tiger took over, gone. They were comfortable with us doing a lot of stuff. Even, you know, getting to the point of being governor of a couple of states, Virginia and Massachusetts. And talking about governor tonight, let's hope that the governor's race is won. I can't think of her name right now. It's won by the African-American woman that's running in Georgia. So they allowed us to take little steps, but they always try to say a black person would never get in the White House. But that happened. And so that apple cart was upset. So what has happened, and when you look at what happened in Charlotte last summer, that was pent up frustration from the Obama years.
Okay? Yeah, I can agree with that.
You have an idiot that comes into the White House saying, let's make America great again. And they feel like they can just do and say anything they want to say. A friend of mine that I went to college with posted on Facebook today, and he asked the question, is the Make American hat the new symbol of the Klan?
Oh.
I said, yes, it was.
Oh.
I might have offended some whites, but because all of them probably not, but that is the new hat of the Klan. Think about it. You look at, remember Charlotte?
That's what I'm thinking about.
You remember that Friday night when they were marching with the torches and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Look at what was the uniform? Red hat, make America
red hat, right?
White shirts and khakis.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to that. That's interesting, Reg.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So that's my question to the folks in the chat room. I see Cherry in there. You know what, Cherry? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to strangle you because you're supposed to be resting. We already told you weren't supposed to be on. With your sick ass.
Yeah.
And then go sit in the chat room. Go to bed. That's what you need to do. But I want to ask the question, does that make sense to those who are listening in? Does it make sense that the red hat, now the new symbol of the Ku Klux Klan? Oh my gosh. I never thought of that. I'm glad you brought it up. So let me ask you a question, because now that Duchess Meghan Markle is in the castle, what changes do you think that this diversity is going to bring to the royals?
And show that they're people. They're some cool people, okay? I mean, that's what it's going to show. I mean, look, I'm surprised Harry didn't marry Rihanna, but Queen Mama won't have Rihanna up in the okay? Because Harry, can't realize Harry was cut from another cloth, okay?
Yeah, his mama.
Yeah, he's
never, a lot like his mother.
Yeah, he has never subscribed to being royalty. You look at much trouble. Look at how he came out of Las Vegas, run around butt naked in the pool and stuff.
Exactly.
That he didn't care.
Well, he's young. He's of this generation.
Right. And he doesn't subscribe to royalty, okay? Then it came to a point in his life that he was mature because he's going through a lot of relationships, you know. And Rihanna probably wouldn't want to be in the castle all stuffed up anyway because of just who she is, okay? She might not have been willing to give her lifestyle, you know. So, I mean, dude was sowing his wild oats. I mean, it was like Eddie Murphy coming to America, you know. He was out there sowing his wild oats, and that's what he was doing, you know. But he,
right. But see, you're talking about he was, and it wasn't just that he was a wild child. I don't think it was. He is just of this. No, wait. He's just of this generation. He's no different than the kids that have grown up around him. He's just like the kids.
You thought he was hanging out with Snoop Dogg or somebody. Harry was wild. Okay.
Look, he loves rap.
Yeah. I said, I wish I could have been at the party, the after party on Saturday night. I know they were jamming.
Oh, you know, they were turning up.
So he was who he was, okay?
Yeah.
And that's how he looked at life, you know, until he found then when Meghan came along, he found love. So he changed, okay, but still
slowed it down a little bit.
See, this is the thing. Prince William has to walk a certain way and do certain things because he is next in line after his father to be king, okay? Yeah. So he has to portray things differently. He has to walk in a different light. Harry is 6th in line, and if William has another kid, he's gonna be 7th in line, okay?
You're
so
right.
He doesn't have to conform to a rigid lifestyle, okay? You know, he can still have a little fun. And so what somebody criticizing, hey, I'm not going to be king, you know, let me have my fun. You know, but he is much more mature than, but he isn't held to the strict guidelines like Prince William is.
Right. Because I just see him as just, for some reason, I just still see him as a kid. You know, because we watched these two young men grow up before our eyes. You know, we were around when Diana gave birth to them both. So it's. I'm not going to say it's a strange thing, but it's an incredible thing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these young men turn into who they are right now,
Mm-hmm.
just like we've been watching our own kids grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. And Jacqueline had made a point earlier that she said the younger generation is definitely more tolerant of different races than we were or we
Mm-hmm.
are. And
Mm-hmm.
she's
Yeah.
completely right.
Mm-hmm.
She's completely right. But
Mm-hmm.
let me ask you this. What if Queen Elizabeth had turned a blind eye to him and Meghan? And she said, absolutely not.
Harry was still done it.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You think he's that much of a rebel?
He is. He would have still done it. You know. He would have still done it. You know. But I think the one thing that helped them was Queen Charlotte. Okay.
Yeah.
It's already been done. Okay.
Yeah, because Queen Charlotte lived to be, what, roughly in her 60s?
No, she was 80 years old. No,
She was,
she reigned for 60 years. But I think
oh, okay, I read it wrong.
yeah, but I think she was close to probably 80 when she passed away.
That's a long time.
During that time, anyway.
Not exactly with all the disease and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
I was trying to pull it up. There it is.
yeah.
Let's see, 6 hours. Okay, so yeah, because it says here that King George was 22 and she was 17.
Mm.
So she was 17 years old.
Yeah, 77 years. She lived to be close to 80. That's a long time.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys have a chance, I want you to look up Queen Charlotte. And you can clearly see, I mean, you could clearly see that she was of African American descent. She had some black running through her veins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's incredible to know back then that there was someone reigning of African descent.
Right.
You know?
And if you look here in America now, you know, there's still issues with interracial relationships here in America. And you hear from time to time, you know, you have the wrath of the black woman, you know, who gets upset at a black man for dating outside his race. Vice versa, the black man gets upset at a black woman dating outside his race. I mean, Serena's catching a lot of flack for not marrying a black man. You know, I'm like, marry who you want to marry, you know.
Why do you think that it's just, I mean, we can't seem to get over that. I don't get it. If
you look at some of the comments concerning Serena, they feel like she's a sellout. Now, I don't know too much about her husband. I was reading an article today, and they were stating that his website is leaning towards, you know, is white leaning. In other words, it's a white supremacy website, which is kind of hard for me to believe if I seen a website that she would marry somebody that might be on the edge, okay? You know, I don't think her father would allow that. I don't think her mother would allow her to marry somebody on the edge. So people were calling her different names like coon and sell out and things of that nature. You know, I think, you know, she said that he was the man that came along at that time and showed her that he cared about her. You know, that rest assured she had dated Carmen and one other person. I can't, who did she date Drake in it? I don't know if it was Drake or Carmen.
I don't know.
I know it was Carmen, and it might have been Drake. Don't quote me on the Drake portion, but I know she dated Carmen. So somebody made a comment that Carmen wasn't good enough for her. You know. And
really?
They dated for a short period of time. You know, so people start throwing little innuendos into her thinking and at her for marrying outside the race, you know, and a lot of it goes on. I think a lot of it has to do with the plight of blacks in America and around the world. Why would you sell your soul to someone from a race that has always tried to exert supremacy over us. Okay, and that's how they might really look at her. Why? You're a woman. You have plenty of money. You don't need him. I mean, even though he's a billionaire, you don't need him. Why would you sell your soul out to someone whose family, friends of the past had exerted supremacy over you? You know, and I think that's where a lot of it comes from. You know, and I think a lot of times, a lot of women feel like that black men, especially, and you look in the area of athletes, that once they got into that plateau, they tend to marry white females, okay? And so there's a lot of comments because you got some black women that are looking for that kind of life too. So they want to be a part of the action also, but they feel like it's a slap in the face to those brothers, you know, when they go out and marry somebody with white persuasion. I don't know. I mean,
do you think that now, for the most part, you'll hear a black man, whether he is successful in sports or in his profession, whatever that may be, okay, they go out and marry of a different race. The first thing that he will say is that I married for love because black women didn't provide me that or reciprocated that love. Do you think that that is all true? Or is it, do you think?
In some instances it is. You know, I think that a lot of times, and this is no knock on black women, I think a lot of times black women are looking for the pie in the sky. And a lot of times when the brother isn't really making money and he's not able to buy her a Gucci bag or MK bag, then she kind of turns her nose up. It's like there are a lot of good brothers out here. All of them might not be doctors and lawyers and stuff. They might be garbage collectors. They might be custodians. But you take a black college educated woman, she will not lower herself to marry the garbage guy or the custodian because she feels like she's marrying beneath herself. But then that guy might be the best guy in the world. He might be the one that takes care and do anything she has to do. But that's how black women look at it. So again, once the brother does establish himself, he goes out and makes it big. But she wants a part of that action. But then he turns and marries a white woman. So yeah, naturally her feelings are hurt because she wasn't the one to get his attention. Might have had his attention at one time, but like he said, you know, he treated. But does that give a brother the pass to go just jump over the bridge and go get a white woman? Are there other qualified black women? You know, but again, it's a personal choice. You know, so just pat the brother on the back and say, hey, you go do your thing. You know, you do you. Be happy. And that's how I look at it, you know.
I mean, I can see both sides, right? I can honestly say that I can see both sides. I can see the side where a black woman would get upset when she sees a white woman with a black man. And that he's successful, right? I can see that part. Because I have seen where, oh my God, I can't remember if I was here or if I was still in California, black guy driving this, I mean, beautiful convertible Benz, had a white girl in the seat. I'm sitting at the light right next to them.
You're hooped.
White girl looks over at me,
smiles, give you thumbs up.
She smiled and then she kind of like did like this. I was like, and then if it caught me off guard, and I'm like, did this bitch just stick her tongue out at me and mock me? I chased that fucking car down. I was like, you gonna mess with the wrong one, you know? So I can see how, because a lot of times black women get taunted. And that's why black women get so angry when they see a black man with his white woman, because she does know how to taunt you in a lot of ways that is unseen by him. And then they wonder why we get upset. Now, I can see the side of being in an interracial relationship if you are in that relationship for love. You know, if you are in that because you truly believe in the person that you're with, I understand it. I have no qualms about it. I'm like you. Just be happy. You know, you find black men who have been turned down for dates and all of this all through high school and as they were coming up by black women. Okay, that's who they're attracted to. But they'd never give him the time of day until he does something for himself. Or until the white girl gives him attention. That's when the black woman wants to then turn her sights back on that black man. Right. So I get that. I get both sides of it. But I just don't understand how people can become so nasty, you know, with their disregard or with their dislike of whatever that situation is. That's where I do have my problem. I have my problem with people like that.
It's going to always happen because it works on both sides of the fence, because you have whites that get offended when they see interracial couples. You have African Americans get upset when they see interracial couples. But something's going to continue on, and we have no control over that. You know, so I mean, I ain't gonna get upset about it. You know, the only thing that bothers me is that excuse me, a lot of young athletes excuse me, come out
get some water. Here, you want my water? You can have my water.
Okay, they come out of college and they for some strange reason they have dated white women, and then when something goes wrong, then they find themselves in court. You know, you look at a couple of young athletes that have come out and been into the pros. You know, issues have arisen. You know, because of that, because they might have dumped the girl and they thought they were gonna get married and all this kind of stuff. So she's seen her money slip away. You know, you look at the running back at Dallas. The troubles he went through and ended up getting suspended for something that happened in college. You know, even before he got into the pros, you know, that dealt with a young white lady. You know, so they're gold diggers on that side of the fence too. You know, and so I think with any mate, you got to be careful to pick of your choice, especially when you're going to come into a lot of money and become a multi-millionaire. You have to be leery of any woman, regardless of the color. Make sure she's not going to judge you up. So I mean, it happens, you know. But
yeah. And Chair is saying, she said, "Look at me." She said, "I'm mixed, and I still see some black men look at me upset because my husband is Irish." Who?
I thought she was married to a black guy.
Huh?
I thought Cheryl was married to a black guy. I thought it was a black Irishman.
She ain't married to no black guy. Chair, look.
I said a black Irishman.
Oh. Chair is enough black and Irish for everybody. She act more like a sister than I do sometimes. You know, anybody that encourages another to cuss, what does that tell you?
But I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure even with Sharon Ann, those thoughts probably ran through her mind also. Well, you know, I'll be accepted. I know at the end game, she got married. Okay,
yeah,
that's what she wanted. You know, right. But I'm pretty sure there were times, and you know, I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure both him and her probably had thoughts how people are going to accept them in society.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so freaking sad.
Yeah, when you look at the plight of the blacks in America, you look at the plights of the Irish when they came to America. We came as slaves, but you look at look what they went through when they immigrated over to America. You know, they went through a whole lot. You know, you can't compare what they went through to what we went through, but they had their struggles also for identity here in America. You know, as did all the other melting pots, the Italians and Germans and stuff like that. You know, because of the settlers that were here before them didn't want to accept them here in America.
Right.
Right. We were forced to come here. You know, it wasn't like we got on the boat and said we're going to America. You know.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. At this time, I do want to mention our sponsors because we have failed to do that in the very beginning. And I'm trying to avoid yawning. because I'm so sleepy.
Mhm.
But anyway, because that would be rude. That would be very rude. But the Hot Topics Talk Radio Network and Real World TV is sponsored by Shades of Africa in 2 locations, in the city of Corona and in the city of Long Beach. Also sponsored by SPMG Media, Ms. Gina Smith. We thank you for being our publicist and making sure that we stay seen all around the world in print and in digital. Also, thank you to FES Protection, Miss Stephanie Jenkins, for more information regarding, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you, she can help you with your credit. She can make sure that she gets your credit straight, get you back on track to a financial future that is just bomb. And also, I cannot leave out this wonderful gentleman here. I started calling him my baby daddy. I don't know why. I don't even know how we got there. Mr. Reggie Kearney, editor-in-chief of the Urban Sentinel. So for more information regarding all of our sponsors, head on over to our website at hottopictalkradio.com/sponsor. And while you're there, make sure that you check out all of the shows, including Hot Topics Talk Radio and Radio TV and Man to Man Radio TV. So head on over to the website, learn more about the shows, catch up on the archives, and we've got a great tab there for resources for anything that you are looking for. So again, hottopictalkradio.com. I think that's it. I'm done. I am done. Okay, so where are we, Reggie Kearney?
Okay. Let's talk about Reverend Al for a second. Okay.
Oh boy.
His comments, basically, he said concerning that white supremacy had a nail. Basically, he was saying there was a nail put into that coffin because of this marriage. He said, when you got little white girls in Wales saying, I want to be like Meghan, there's a shift worldwide that white supremacy is on its last breath. I don't think so. I don't agree with that statement.
No, white supremacy is around to stay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Excuse me. As long as you've got people right now still giving birth, okay, to the hatred and to the children.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have supremacy.
Yeah.
White supremacy. So I don't think that in this lifetime, my lifetime, that I'll see or you'll see that supremacy takes a back seat and everything is rainbows and unicorns. Yeah. I don't believe that. No, I honestly don't, because as long as hatred is being sowed.
And it is. I mean, you got to, even in England, in London, there are issues in London, okay? You have the black ghetto in London. You have a lot of people who don't accept the blacks that live there. They would probably be happy that if they were gone. So you have white supremacy in all countries. Okay, you look at Israel. What's going on in Israel now? They're trying to remove all Africans that came into Israel. They're trying to remove them. They even paying them lump sum money. They leave, and a lot of these people don't want to go back to the countries that they came from because of the turmoil. And they're telling them, if you don't go back, you're going to be in prison. So you don't have too much of a choice. You got to go somewhere. So that's a worldwide issue that's going to be around until the end of time. You just can't get rid of it. People are caught up in the moment. Okay, yes, you have a very attractive young lady who happens to be of African descent, marries into a royal family. That's a headline. Okay,
it is.
That's a headline. Who would have thought that this would happen? Look at years ago, Disney decided to create a Black Princess doll. And most people thought that's probably the most you're going to get as far as a princess. Okay. That was going to be it, the Black Princess doll. But then all of a sudden comes, Meghan Markle comes into the scene, grabs the heart of a princess and becomes a princess. It's a story. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a historic story, but we still have problems.
But see, the thing is that the hatred is so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep. And I was looking at some of the comments, and Shara had mentioned that there are some people that have been online on social media arguing that the Duchess Meghan Markle identifies as white. And it's sad that we are there, that even what is right in front of you, when you look at this wedding and you see her mother sitting there in dreadlocks under her hat, it's like, how do you figure she identifies white? She identifies as an interracial young woman of Black descent and of white descent. That's what she identifies with. There has been no secret, who her father is, as twisted as he may be. There's no secret. She has not held anything back.
Right.
And people still want to argue that point. And all that is hatred. Yeah. It's like, okay, if I don't see it, if I don't admit to it, then it's not true. The rest of the world is wrong.
Right.
If I don't agree that, this girl is Black or has Black blood running through her veins, it's not true.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't change. The world doesn't change because of one interracial high-profile marriage. Okay. If that was the point, then all the interracial marriages around the world would have changed this world, and it hasn't. Okay.
No, because you can look back at what was the African American woman and her husband, the Lovings.
Yeah.
Back in the 50s and 60s, who were arrested and harassed and berated and spit on, and all of these different things, because they were together and had children. It's just, I think it's sad. It is truly, truly sad. I just believe that, people should be people, and whomever you fall in love with, God bless you, and God bless your union.
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it. Yeah. So, but I still like me a Black man, though.
Yeah. I had a whole lot of
Kearney, you still my baby daddy.
I know. I ain't the best looking thing around. I had a lot of Black women turn me down, but I hung in there with you. Hung in there with you sisters, okay?
All right now.
Oh boy, I hung in there with you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know, Reggie. I'm just surprised that we're where we are. I just still wear my rose-colored glasses sometimes. I'm quite aware of what goes on in the Black communities.
Right.
But I still have so much hope. That things could turn around, because even, with Shara Ann and her husband having to face some of the things that they're facing, I'm sure that they are facing something, and it breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart.
Well, we have a militant side of us in our community, and both communities do, white and Black community. This just doesn't see. They look at whites as being the devil, and whites look at us being the devil probably also. Okay, so they have that whole persona. Years ago, and this was years ago, probably in the 80s. I've always been in management. This one white female told me one day that worked for me. She said, my father calls you a white nigger. The reason he does that, because he was impressed with the fact that I was in management and that I was a college graduate and that I was smart. Okay, so he identified with me as being more white than Black just because of my credentials. And that's how they look at you sometimes. You know, they separate the smart ones. Well, they separate the so-called smart ones from what they might feel like is not the best of the bunch. Okay, what they feel. Okay,
I'm like shocked.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't be shocked because I know it exists. I know it exists. Yeah. I mean, if you could only have heard over the years, and Yvonne could attest to this,
right.
And you're right, Yvonne, and we are going backwards. But there were times where I would be on the phone with someone and they didn't know what I was until they walk in the door or see me. And immediately you can see the shock, because I've had some be really honest with me, you know, and they'll say, "Oh my God, I didn't think you were black," you know. Well, I tell the story. I tell the story about but I tell the story of when I was in sales, and for about a year or so, I had taken over this contract, and the guy, or the president of the company, he would call and he would order all these damn copiers and whatnot, and I had never gone out to this business. Okay, I had taken it over from someone else, and I would just call him and check on him, and he'd call me. And it was time for him to renew a contract. And he called and he says, "Oh, I can't wait to meet you." He was an old country boy too. "I can't wait to meet you, because I bet you are damn gorgeous. Blonde hair and blue eyes. I can't wait to meet you." He came down there to that office. Bam!
Well, look, why didn't you wear a blonde wig and put some blue contacts in your
I like the shock value.
I
like the shock value.
Did he sign back on with y'all again?
He actually did. He actually did. And when I got ready to leave Canon, oh my God, he wrote this wonderful, wonderful letter and sent it to the president of Canon USA, and then ended up sending me a little gift card, and not a gift card, a card, and he had put certificates in it, because we didn't have gift cards back then. Certificates in it, and just a wonderful send off he had given me, you know, just as a client.
Right.
But but even in today, I think that a lot of people are surprised if they see me first, and when I open my mouth, they're surprised. Because I don't sound like the average, you know? So I get where you're coming from with that comment that person had made, but it's still no less shocking.
Well, yeah,
I have to say
that's how they think. You know, they have separate groups for us to be in. You either got it or you don't have it, you know? And they willing to give you a pass if they perceive that you have it, you know? They wouldn't perceive. But you know, I've seen a whole lot. You know, I've seen times when we would be opening new stores throughout the country, and they tell us to put a certain letter on, you know, to separate the applications from black from white. You know, I ended that one. I went straight up to the president and said, "Look, no, we're not going to do this no more."
Are you kidding me? Yeah,
they told us. You know, they wanted us to market, because the area we were in was predominantly white. They didn't want to put too many blacks in the store, because they were looking at this was in the 80s. This was like probably 83, 84. You know, and I said no. When I got back to the hotel that night, I went over everybody's head.
OMG.
I wasn't going to deal with that, you know. So it's the mentality that's ingrained into a lot of whites around the country. You know, that's how we do business, you know. And that's
so let me ask you this question. I'm sorry. I couldn't hold it. Let me ask you this question. Do you think that today's blacks are more tolerant than they used to be of whites, or do you think that we've come to this crossroad with everything that we're facing now, as what Yvonne says, going backwards? Do you think that we're more tolerant?
I think we're too tolerant. But you got to remember, I'm old school, so I see things differently. Now, younger people might see things at the crossroads. You know, I think we've given in too much to get where we are, and we've settled for too much, and we continue to settle because, again, as I always go back and say, we have good jobs, we can live what we want to live, we can do what we want to do. You look at the area where I live at in D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, majority of African Americans are employed with the federal government, and a lot of those jobs pay anywhere from $120 to $170, $75,000 a year.
Right.
They've been able to establish a certain lifestyle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times when they're able to establish that certain lifestyle, they kind of forget where they come from or where their ancestors come from, the struggles they have made, because, you know, the idiot in the White House could take that away from all in a minute by downsizing the federal government. And Republicans are very much in tune to wanting to downsize federal government. You know, and I would agree in some areas it is bloated, okay? You know, but just think if they really decide to downsize federal government in this area, the black middle class in this area, we have one of the strongest black middle classes in the country, would be affected. And I think sometimes you have to always stay one step ahead of them and be prepared for something like that, and not rest on your laurels and say, hey, it's okay. You know, I don't buy into that. You know, I think we always have to be aware of our surroundings and not just fall into the rut and say everything's going to be okay. The Lord going to take care of it. All I got to do is say a little prayer. Okay, it don't work that way. You know, so I mean, we are struggling. I mean, we Black Americans are still struggling, and we're still trying to establish ourselves here in this country, and we have to fight tooth and nail every day to beat back white supremacy.
Where do you see us as a black people in 10 years? Just
Scary.
in 10 years.
You know, I think about it, you know, for one thing, we're not teaching our young people values, okay? We're not. If you look at the police officer who got killed in Baltimore County yesterday, group of teens, stolen Jeep, 16-year-old who's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, from a tough neighborhood in Baltimore, ran over her, killed her. Okay, now, this kid had been in and out of the courts for stealing cars as a juvenile and escaping from the juvenile detention centers. That shows that he has no values, and no one has taught him anything as far as values. And I think that's a lot of our problem. We've got to take back our youth and our cities, and we got to start teaching our kids the values that we were brought up on, okay? And a lot of them don't have that.
So,
you know?
I know that I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, where you had asked my son Cameron to come on and give his, was it last week?
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work well in time. Do you think that what he had to say was the thought of most young black boys or black girls today? Women, or I should say young people.
Yeah, I think so. But those comments are coming from young people whose parents have given them direction, okay? You know, I like his son because he's an independent thinker. You know, I listen to some of the stuff he said, and you don't find many young people thinking on the level he's thinking on. He's very independent. You know, he sees both sides of the political aisle. I think, you know, he's not going to pigeonhole himself into being a Republican or a Democrat. I think he's going to look at it as being who's best for the job. You know, with some reservations when it comes to the Republican Party. And those same reservations you can have about the Democratic Party also. You know, so I think he's a free thinker. He's an independent person. And I think a lot of young people, you know, that's how they make their decisions. You know, you have a lot of, in the past, you had a lot, and I don't know if it's still continuing to be a trend, a lot of young blacks becoming Republicans because they didn't see nothing the Democratic Party did. So they said, okay, let me make this move over here. Now, I think Trump has sucked some of the air out of what they thought was going to be a grand thought. But they are free thinkers. They're not going to run to the Democratic Party just because our parents and because we ran to the Democratic Party, okay? You know, I would sit here and say myself, the Democratic Party hasn't done nothing for African Americans on the positive side.
Not a thing. You know? Not a thing.
I mean, yeah, it burns you up when when the idiot makes a comment, what have you got to lose by voting for me on the Republican Party? But then you look back and you try to say, what has the Democratic Party done for me?
But see, the way that he expressed that when he made that statement, it's like saying, well, shit, you're not anything anyway. You don't have shit anyway.
That's right. And excuse me, he partially told the truth. I mean, because what has the Democratic Party really done for us that's meaningful? I mean, we may get elected to offices under the Democratic banner, but I mean,
yeah, but we were sucked in to believing that he could do something better.
Yeah,
he's a lot of point that way.
Yeah, but we, the favorite party of the Ku Klux Klan was the Democratic Party. Okay.
Yeah,
we were Republicans at one time.
Exactly.
That all changed with Nixon and all them guys, But we were staunch Republicans, The Democrats were the racists. True racists,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's flipped. Right. Republicans are the true racists, but it's racism in both parties, But
but you know that you've got more of the racism and prejudice that is heavy in the right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like they've switched parties now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so much. It's so much.
But I wish them to. Excuse me. I wish the royal family the best. But has it changed things? No, because if it has, because all the other interracial marriages should have changed things, and they didn't. Okay.
Right, but what lesson is this marriage and the acceptance into the royal family giving to us here in the U.S.? What lesson? Nothing.
It's just a marriage. It's just a high-profile marriage. So we should see hope in their marriage. Okay. It doesn't change a thing. We still got to go out every morning and fight for what we need for our rights. Okay.
The U.S. has become such a freaking joke.
Yeah.
To the rest of the world.
Yeah. You got the jokester in the White House. You got the jokester in the White House demanding that DOJ investigate the informant.
I saw that this morning.
And the informant was somebody who worked in 3 Republican administrations. He's a Republican. Yeah. Why would Obama use a Republican to be an informant?
To get information.
Yeah. He's stupid, okay? I respect the office of the presidency. I don't respect the idiot that's in there right now.
The president that's in the president's seat.
Because he is stupid. Yeah. He's always trying to find some way to will out of something, to blame somebody for something. Old dude.
Beyond stupid.
Yeah.
He is beyond stupid.
Yeah.
OMG. And you know what? I had this thought last night, and this is probably going to happen. And then we're going to go. I had this thought last night. Do you know I could visibly see last night me standing in front of Trump?
I can't. I'm going to knock them out.
But see, I didn't finish my statement. I did. Last night, complete visual of me standing in front of him, right? And he went to shake my hand, and I punched him. Just saying.
Yeah. You notice when he had the teacher of the year at the White House, and he was trying to shake her hand, she wouldn't shake his hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm hoping
that day will come.
He probably was too stupid to pick up on it. He probably never figured it out. He probably kept putting hand sanitizer on his hand.
Oh my God. He is an idiot.
Yeah, he is. But
oh my gosh.
Support him, That's the scary thing about it.
Oh my God. Jared just told me to be careful. I don't want them to come after me. Bring it on.
And every time I'm in,
Bring it on.
if I'm downtown and walking around, them tourists, they walking around with them red hats on. Lord have mercy.
You gotta just flick
I'm
one.
to walk up there and knock them off the head or grab them off the head.
Just flick it.
And that's and you see all these souvenir vendors now. That's what they're selling. They're selling his stuff plus that daggone "Make America Great hat again," made in China or made in Bangladesh somewhere.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand it anymore. So it is time for us to get out of here. OMG. I can't remember the name of the show for tomorrow night, Yvonne Baker, because I don't have it pulled up in front of me. But I do want to say thank you to everyone who had watched in tonight, to Mr. Reggie Kearney, and he allowing me to sit here in Chera's seat while she gets well. She's well enough to chat. I'm going to kill her. But she really needs to rest and get better. You've got to get better, Chera. But thank you, Miss Jacqueline. Really enjoyed you. And, of course, Miss Yvonne Baker, who is my partner in crime. So she has been sitting in. And to everybody else who has been listening, I want to say thank you. Hot Topics Talk Radio Network and the Real World News TV team is sponsored by Shades of Africa in 2 locations, in the city of Corona and in the city of Long Beach. Also sponsored by, I'm sorry, I was turning some stuff down, SPMG Media. Thank you, Miss Gina Smith. And FES Protection, Miss Stephanie Jenkins. And, of course, Reggie Kearney, Editor-in-Chief of Urban Sentinel. Make sure that you check them out by going to hottopictalkradio.com/sponsors. Tomorrow night, we've got a great show lined up for you. I just can't remember the title. I know what it's about. I just can't remember the title. But it has to do with having a wonderful and a fantastic mate, but they credit is shot. When do you tell your mate that your credit is shot? So I'm just putting that out there. I don't know the title. Yvonne, you didn't send me the title while you're in here. I'm doing the best I can. So tomorrow night, hottopictalkradio.com. I tell you, I'm tired. Hot Topics Talk Radio TV with me, Yvonne Baker, and Roland D. The show starts at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Central, and 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And make sure that you follow Real World News TV, Mr. Reggie Kearney and Chera Ann Tappan on Facebook. Find out all of the information about the shows and what's coming up. All right, you guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, baby daddy.
Thank you, baby mama. Peace.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.